and welcome to the first episode of Nerding Out, Geeking Out. I'm Luke.
I'm Grafton.
I'm James.
And we are the nutters that decide to try and do a podcast on what we enjoy, which is essentially design, engineering, and all nerdy stuff. So yeah, we're going to start off with our first topic, which is design highlights.
I feel like we should give a brief intro. This is first.
Is that
First
it?
episode.
You want more? Okay, so
First
what do you want to
episode.
say?
Well, I'm Gresham. I've been.
Hi, Gresham.
Hello. I am a design engineer. I've been in industry. Quick mouths.
So long.
Very slow mouths.
So old. So
I believe I've been in industry coming up on 8 years.
8 years.
Some of it, bear in mind, was during education, but yes, I've been in the world of engineering working.
Would you like to go next, James?
Yes, hi, I'm James. Nice to meet you all.
Hello.
I've been in design engineering for just about 3 years now.
Okay, 3
Over
years.
3 years. Prior to that, university, but that was industrial design rather than engineering.
Okie dokie. So we've got two. I was going to say newbies because I've been in my current role almost for 12 years.
So
No, I know I'm a senior
Oh,
design
you gotta get
engineer.
that. It's tough to distinguish them both.
And yeah, have a pattern against my name.
Hey, that he does. That he does.
And I still think that I enjoy doing stuff like this more after so long, which is why I think I've pushed so much to possibly do it straight away. We might have planned to try and do this a few days ago.
And the
And then
equipment
within
was
24
bought
hours,
yesterday.
the equipment
Yeah,
arrived.
it was quite entertaining. Like one day, Luke's like, maybe we should consider doing a podcast. You know, like sometimes the shit we chat is quite entertaining. And I was like, yeah, why not? And then suddenly the next day, James and I get a message, guys, I've bought the equipment, it's arriving, we're doing an episode next week. And we're like, what?
What? And no messing about, no messing about.
No, there's no messing about, but there's been quick,
Yeah.
It's been
as proven today
rapid.
with
I mean, I was
we're
already off
having
for,
technical
I
difficulties.
was already off for the 3 days, so it makes it easy for me to overplan things.
I suppose that is something we should warn people is this is our first episode. We will be facing technical difficulties.
There will definitely be
still-
level issues.
figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
We're figuring how the content works. We'll try out topics.
But any ideas are more welcome in the comment section.
More
If
than
an-
welcome.
If anyone has a decent mixer that they'd recommend, please let me know. Because at the moment I'm looking at them and going, oh wow, that's £600. Oof, that's
It's eye-watering
Yeah.
considering how many podcasts have started in like this current like day and age.
it's insane.
It's actually insane how high like the entry, like the
Yeah.
barrier to entry is.
It used to be you could get a normal mic and a webcam.
Well, no. Interestingly, it seems like it's a cheap setup for 2 people.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Funnily enough, this segues into my design that you've been noting. Because funny enough, guess what I've been looking at the last few days? Mixers.
Nice.
So,
Why would that be?
oh well, there's this thing called starting up a podcast.
Ah, yes.
So yeah, what I have noted is you can get lots of single stuff, which has come in recently. It looks to be because a lot of people are doing streaming online on Twitch, so people want to get XLR microphones. So I know that the mixer that I want to be able to use with this, which I can't at the moment, you can get a dock on the back now, which has an XLR input. So one of the potential solutions that we could do for these mics is we get that, and then we can still use the equipment I've got with one plugged into an XLR, which hopefully, touch wood, might work. If that doesn't work, well, I've got an excellent microphone upstairs for when I do YouTube videos. And then trying to find something that's relatively affordable between the £400 to £600 range. But yeah, there's loads of 2 XLR inputs as well, which are really cheap. I watched some videos this week on people using them, and they're saying the audio quality is not too bad. But yeah, when it comes to when you do 3 people, it automatically goes 1, 2, 6.
Ah,
It's a bit crazy.
I don't think I've seen many podcasts where it's 2 people or 6 people. So
Yeah.
where is the the delivery of this market.
I don't know. Somewhere somebody has market data suggesting that you either do a podcast on your ones as a duo, or you have everyone and their grandma.
It's just insane, and I can't understand how the audio industry hasn't noted that there's a lot of podcasters out there now, and a lot of people trying to start up. And yeah, more than one input would be nice, please.
I also wonder like technologically, because I was having a look at some of the price points of those mixers. Once again,
They jump.
for like 2 inputs, it's not decent, and then the jump to 3 or more is massive.
Yeah,
So-
it's unrealistically massive, right?
Yeah,
Even if you could, if it would solve the problem, you would take 3 standard one-person XLR inputs and put them together, and then plug them into a computer.
well, perhaps some homework for you.
Maybe.
Some homework for you.
So much
Figure out
homework.
what's going on the inside.
Oh, no. Just buy one from Amazon,
Yeah,
open
rip
it up,
it
take
apart.
take a look, go, can't modify that, put it back
Send
together
it
and
back.
send it back.
Well, why not? Why not?
Sorry, it arrived damaged.
Missing a few
Instead of I
bits.
fix it, Luke fix it.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. So has anyone
Turn
else
out specials.
noted any design or cool releases or things they've been looking at?
I've got a fun one. It's a controversial one.
Oh, dear.
There's-
Remember, there will be an email address set up as gresham.complaints.com.
No.
And the complaints will be duly noted by Gresham
Yeah,
himself.
all good. American company called Enron.
Okay.
They formerly used to be an energy services company for America.
Right, okay.
So they did like gas line, pipelines, all of that. They kind of hit a spot of bother, with some questionable payments and
Okay. One of
ended up
those.
going bankrupt. And then at CES 2025, they were like, guys, we're making a comeback. And they pulled together this official looking website with a product known as the egg.
The egg.
Oh, the egg.
Are we talking alien face hugger style egg?
We're talking about an egg.
Dragon
that's
egg?
About, I would say, definitely more than half a meter tall. But not as tall as a meter. I can't remember the diameter.
I reckon no more than a foot.
Yeah,
It
no,
wasn't.
no,
Bit more.
it was.
Yeah.
I think it was a bit more than a foot because like bear in mind the only time we've actually seen this on stage or in person was in relation to a person on stage,
Okay.
and it was sat on like a stool. Any guesses as to what was inside or what was suggested to be inside?
It's
said
not a
egg?
chocolatey centre, is it?
No,
No.
it is not. And it's not a creature.
No,
Okay.
no,
No, it's not a
Okay.
dragon.
it's not alive. I mean, if something was to go wrong, it could cause
It could cause a.
It could cause some
Yes.
interesting mutations
Yeah.
because what they were suggesting was within that egg to be contained a small nuclear fission reactor.
What?
A reactor for
small
the
nuclear
home.
reactor core with heavy water, keeping it safe, that could power a home. So you could buy it, power a home
Okay.
for approximately 10 years.
Right.
And
Have they done research into the Fallout series whilst doing this?
so to be fair, to them, they've like if they were making this a legitimate product, they've come about it at the right time, or they come about it in a time where people are starting to be a bit more nuclear positive in terms of energy, because the amount of research that's gone into the safety mechanisms of nuclear fission reactors has been insane.
Yep.
They're able to make them smaller. They're able to make them faster, and make them last a hell of a lot
Unless you're
longer
building
with a
the one
lot
in the
less
UK.
nuclear waste.
Unless you're building the one in the UK.
Yeah, let's not
Yeah.
talk about that. What was the massive disaster? Was it Fukushima?
Fukushima, and then you have Chernobyl.
Yeah, which is
being the
yeah.
big
I
one.
remember in my studies that I had to do an entire write-up on a nuclear reactor from the Fukushima accident, and that's what kick-started the initial look into safety testing and making sure the safety devices were actually improved.
Well, I believe Fukushima, they recently found themselves kind of in bad press. Well, I say recently, within like the last half year or year, of them finally releasing all the now nuclear reactors have a lot of water in them for their cooling systems, but also water in them to eventually turn into steam. Now, as a result of the Fukushima incident, it was quite heavily irradiated.
Yeah.
So they've finally gone through. We're talking metric tons of water, irradiated water that they've finally finished treating, and they've claimed is radiation, like there's none.
There's a video for you to watch. It's from Kyle.
And finally been slowly releasing it into the oceans.
When did they notice that it was irradiated though? Was it when they didn't see fish with like 3 eyes like in The Simpsons?
Well, it was when the plant actually broke.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I say broke.
The moment that happened, they kind of got kicked into like overdrive.
Yeah, I think people have learned from another disaster. But this
just
one
a
has
few.
a good video on, I think it's Kyle, I can't remember his actual name on YouTube, does science things. He went there. He's going to he's gone to Chernobyl, he's gone to Fukushima, and he's gone and explained exactly what happened and what they're doing now. And the water there is supposedly is very pure that they're putting back into it because they've got it in these giant vats.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Actually, speaking on top of that, Chernobyl's is approaching another big milestone because they effectively, when they were desperately trying to like fix and cover up as much of the reactor, it's the exposed reactor core. At the time, it was a lot of concrete, and then they effectively kept layering on shields on top of it, effectively. But that can only last for so long. The concrete's starting to weaken, and as a result, they started construction of the next layer, which is, imagine this, like almost aircraft hangar-esque size, but tenfold in terms of scale, and they've made it right next to it, and they've basically created rail lines across it, over the original reactor, so they could actually slide it across. It's a monumental task, and I mean, this kind of shows you just like what can happen if it goes so badly wrong. We're talking generations.
Oh yeah.
Like this won't cease to like stop being a problem.
No.
For so many generations.
No, it's going to be multi-generational.
Yes, yeah. But once again, this company Enron, they apparently made such a convincing website. Like I urge you guys to go look at it. It's crazy.
I mean, there's a few people that can do HTML code and do a convincing website, right?
Exactly. No. So like it's like official site, but like they've made it look so official that and they've got like a pre-order sign with like no record of pricing and stuff, and you click it and it just subscribes you to like a newsletter, but it is a parody.
Okay.
But for a moment, everybody was just like, a nuclear fission reactor in your home.
I mean,
now the thing is, if they theoretically figured it out, fair enough. But what does that like? In terms of security risks, I think that's so bad.
Well, that's true. Although on the plus side, if anyone was to try and fiddle with it, they know it's going to cause them to die. Right?
I guess so, but then again, I don't know. You will find certain people who are willing to take that risk, or willing to protect themselves. I don't know. I just feel like providing a normal human being with nuclear, we know that a nuclear reactor, if operated incorrectly, effectively isn't too far from a nuclear bomb or a nuclear disaster. So what are we giving each home? A mini nuclear disaster, a
it's
potential
an IED.
disaster. But also at the same time, why would you need each home to be powered by its own nuclear source?
I was just going to think that. Why
not like an area?
Yeah, why not? I wonder what, in terms of efficiency, would it be more efficient to have lots of small ones or
big one?
One big reactor?
I guess you lose some form of energy over transmission, right? So maybe it's to try and kick that in the bud. This has been theorized and talked about for
so
for
long.
so long. It's in Back to the Future at the end. He's got Mr. Fusion on the back of the DeLorean. We've seen it in the Fallout films. We've seen it in Warhammer-ish stuff. It kind of looks nuclear based. Science fiction has always said, "Oh yeah, we're going to end up with a nuclear power plant everywhere. It's going to be fine." But unfortunately, every single time that's happened, it hasn't gone too well. So hopefully they can disprove that.
All the recent ones since Fukushima, nothing's happened. UK's got a massive infrastructure project for, I believe they're calling it System 2 and System 3, I believe. I might have got the naming wrong, but we do have a massive nuclear project that's not really going to be completed until, I think, the late 2030s. It's, it's huge. And I believe it's a French company that's finishing up for us. But as far as the UK goes, they seem to be going nuclear positive. Or nuclear
positive.
Nuclear positive.
It doesn't sound like a thing you want, right?
No.
It sounds like your hair's going to start falling out and you're going to grow another arm.
Although in
Can we come up with a new name? Nuclear supporter? Maybe?
Yeah, nuclear supportive.
Nuclear positive? Oh, it's giving me COVID vibes.
Okay, let's avoid that.
Yeah. So, talk to me about F1. What's new on engineering in F1?
Mate,
Lewis Hamilton, headphone boy.
Before we go on to your favourite bit,
Wait, I was actually going to say, before we started, I was going to say, I think we should turn around to James, who has actually been the longest supporter of F1 out of the three of us.
I'm a supporter.
To give us a quick update of everything that's happened in the off season.
in the off season, well, as of the first of this year, Adrian Newey, the greatest F1 designer of all time, has joined Aston Martin, and he has officially started work. According to a video I saw today, he's officially started work with Alonso as primarily because he's the number one driver.
I'm going to have to tone you back a bit here. So you're telling me that a famous designer is designing the James Bond cars of F1?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Right, I'm caught up.
He's
Need to put in layman's terms. Need a translator halfway.
Bear in mind, F1's been around since 1950.
So old.
And I'm so annoyed I don't have the number of championships he's won. But if you look at the teams that he's won with...
Well, Newey's won, I can't remember
Williams?
exactly. It would be Williams. I think he had one with two with McLaren.
McLaren, yeah.
Then he had
Red Bull.
the Red Bull
Because
era,
he's had the Sebastian Vettel era,
and then the Max
and
era.
the Max era.
Braun, I think he worked there. He worked at Williams for a little bit, but I don't think that was the World
Oh,
Championship.
was that not a championship? Okay.
What engineering design does he most know before?
He is the Aero King.
The
is
Aero King.
Is best way to describe him.
Not as in Aero chocolate bar. But we're talking about aerodynamics, right?
Yeah, he is famously one of the last design engineers to actually sketch out the preliminary drawings of for instance, what the front wing would do.
Okay.
He actually draws it out on a giant graphic
Easel?
chart.
Yeah, chart.
Yeah.
Chart's probably more likely.
Big old bit of paper.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
And a pencil.
And a pencil. And a ruler.
Believe it or not, he knows little to no CAD.
Interesting.
So he sketches all of it out
Mhm.
and then hands it to his team of CAD monkeys. Effectively, I mean they are also incredibly smart because they have to translate those into very complex CAD. But once again,
Yeah.
And Newey, if you watch any of the F1 races where you see him walking around, he walks around with his little red book.
Yes.
James?
The Red Book of Knowledge. It's got every sketch, every idea, reportedly. We've not actually seen everything that's in there. It's his thoughts. He'll go around all the other teams at the beginning of the race. They've got this grid walk where all celebrities decide they want to be a part of F1. And that involves the teams, and they all walk around and look at each other's cars.
And he goes around with his book just writing down, I don't like this bit.
Yeah,
this
so he
isn't
goes,
very
he
nice.
could do better.
Everyone stresses out. Like, famously, in 2022, Mercedes rocked up with a design that everybody was like, "Whoa, that's so different to everyone," which was the zero pod concept. So the side kind of
The
pods that
inlets.
you actually have on like that make the car quite like fat, effectively.
Okay.
That was just completely slimmed down package that kind of followed the radiators effectively.
It had enough space for the radiators instead of having a gap, that sort of landscape. It was a portrait and a really narrow slit that went quite far down that allowed them.
Okay.
That was for
And
the air.
what happened?
Well, everyone was like, I think Mercedes have figured this out, evidently, because they've rocked up with something so dramatically different.
Oh, your tone of voice doesn't say a good thing about this.
Nope, it was the biggest mistake ever.
Okay.
The car was not balanced.
Was he there with his red book? Like, oh dear,
No,
that's
and,
not
oh
how
my
you
God,
do it, is
somebody
it?
took the most entertaining picture and then captioned, like, if a picture ever screamed, I could do this better anymore, was Adrian Newey stood over the Mercedes drawing in his red book, and you were just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was the
Yeah.
biggest mistake they've made in Mercedes's illustrious
short
career.
era.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, bear in mind, Mercedes came in, when they came in, what was it, 2013?
13?
No, it was Braun, and then Braun immediately turned into Mercedes.
Oh, yes.
So it would have been 2010 when Sebastian
Ah,
Vettel
yes.
won his first. So they came in as a brand new team. They were already competitive, kind of coming in at like fourth, fifth place with
Okay.
a great driver pairing with Michael Schumacher, the legend. For 4 years, where Sebastian Vettel in Red Bull succeeded, and then after that proceeded to have the most dominant era of car. They aced their engine, they aced their car, and it just continued all the way up until
Until that point.
2021.
Okie
Which was when
dokie.
another rule change,
Yes.
which made everything more. Instead of having a lot of aero on the outside, it was when it became ground effect, which is just allowing it to create a vacuum underneath the car to suck it to the ground.
Okay. Interesting. I have no idea what half of the people you talked about, but I think I got the gist, which is good because you can work as if I am the viewer of this podcast.
Well, the interesting thing is, so there's another rule change, so new generation of car
Mhm.
coming in
26.
26. You have a rough explanation of what's actually changing on that?
Has it got wheels?
Yes, it has.
That's
got
good.
wheels.
That's
It
good.
actually
Not
has
too crazy.
4 of them.
4?
I
Yeah,
know.
four wheels.
Crazy.
Insanity.
It's a from what I can gather, it's a simplification of the current rules. They're making the front wing slightly smaller, but allowing it to have some aero work that allows it to go a bit bigger. But the main surface of the wing has to be smaller. You'll find
Right.
if you go into old F1 cars,
So it can go longer and thinner, but it has the same surface.
I don't think
Area?
no, it has to.
Weirdly, we actually haven't seen. We're still waiting to see a fully functioning
Yeah.
Okay.
model.
They're going back to when I say surface area, it's more like how the air flows over it.
Right. Okay.
They'll keep roughly to the same depth.
Hmm.
They're making it narrower.
Okay.
So they're going back to what the 2008s
Okay.
were. So they're a lot, and they're actually making the overall cars smaller because the current cars are I think they're
2.5 meters wide,
wide.
5 meters
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, that's pretty
and
insane.
especially when you're
Yeah.
going around historic tracks like Monaco, for instance.
They just
can't-
don't go around the
they-
corners
they
until
can't
they're
overtake.
like ridiculously
Yeah.
slow.
I think 2008 was probably the last generation we actually watched Monaco have genuine overtakes.
Oh.
Because
Yeah.
if you turn around, you're turning in a corner and you've just got another, you just don't have space to pass.
For context here, the one bloody race that these two managed to get me to watch
Yes.
this year
So bad.
was the Monaco one. And the
So
only thing that
bad.
was interesting about it was seeing how the big boats in the dock.
To be fair, I mean,
Yeah.
It was very dull.
Monaco's the race you watch to feel poor. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You just see all the
I did.
billionaires' yachts.
I did feel poor when I realised that that was a normal sized boat, and then next to it is this like 20 million
Yeah.
times sized boat next to it. It's just the size of a planet almost.
Funny enough,
you're
one
like,
of those big
Oh,
boats.
they do them that big?
One of those big boats was Lawrence Stroll, which is Lance Lance's.
So Aston Martin
Aston Martin.
Yep.
is owned by Lawrence Stroll.
Right.
Son.
Now, Lawrence Stroll has a son
Right.
called Lance, who, when he was young, you know, with his silver spoon, I'm sure,
Yeah.
said, "Daddy, could you please, pretty please, with a cherry on top, make me an F1 driver?"
Oh my god.
So it all started when it was in Formula 2,
Yep.
which is the series below, which is what you train in.
How big are Formula 2 cars? Because you said that the cars are getting smaller. Are they? Is it shrinking to nearly a Formula 2 size?
So to be
No.
fair, James said they are getting smaller, but we're talking like minuscule levels.
Oh,
Centimetres
2008
off
okay.
in some cases.
2008 was massively small. We're talking like a full meter.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going in the right direction, they're just not going in the...
Not
Far
going fast enough, ironically.
Yes.
Seeing
yeah.
as one of the fastest sports.
Yes. And, and so in Formula 2, they are all the same car,
Okay.
supposedly. This is where the controversy of when he won his Formula... did he win a Formula 2 championship?
I honestly can't remember.
I mean,
I just
yeah.
remember him from the get go. He wasn't happy.
So...
Dad got involved.
Yes, so he wasn't happy in his car. His dad got involved and made some changes to the front wing,
Mm.
which I think it was a flexi wing, from what I can remember. I believe
You don't mean crash, you actually mean changes to the design.
he changed the car design, which is meant to be
Right.
set.
Okay.
the
Did he
cars-
then change it in a crash?
He did do a few crashes.
Oh, there we go. That's
he,
like
he
worth
did
watching.
crash.
Lance is very good at crashing.
Crashing.
Oh,
He
good.
so his dad bent the rules, and
Right.
he won. Funny enough,
Oh, really?
the championship.
Crazy.
And then
Surprise.
and then he got picked up by what at the time was Force India.
Yep.
Then it went to racing. Then other things happened financially, and then it was his dad bought the team,
Right.
and then it became Racing Point, and then his dad bought a controlling interest in Aston Martin, and that allowed Aston Martin to get back into Formula One,
Oh,
and now that meant our dear Lance is now has a permanent seat.
Great.
And other than that, they've had two very good drivers. Admittedly,
Sebastian Vettel,
Vettel.
4-time world champion,
Okay.
and Fernando Alonso,
who is famous for making the widest F1 car in history,
Yes.
who stopped Lewis Hamilton in the most dominant car
Yep.
ever for 10 laps.
one of the most. I mean, bear in mind, like they have a history, but
Yes.
Fernando is like one of the.
The
best
funny thing is
defensive
the
drivers.
fact that he didn't overtake. It sounds really dramatic, but when you're watching it, it's the dullest thing on the planet. So everything you guys get excited about with F1, I'm just like, yeah, but that sounds so boring to watch.
I'll,
It's like the crashes, man. The crashes are good.
I'll-
I know it's horrible
no.
and life-threatening, but at least it's entertaining.
Well, it's not
I'll-
much like that anymore.
I'll accept it, but I think it's watching the attempts to overtake.
Okay.
Because the thing is, like, you have some drivers who will try the same tactic. Let's say turn 11 is the main overtaking zone. They'll try the same tactic, every now and then. But then the greats, they will change things up left, right, and center. Are they going to go to the right? Are they going to go to the left? Are they going to brake hella early and try and cut in, following the racing line, or are they not? Are they going to go off the racing line? They try different things, but effectively, Aston Martin has won. Bear in mind these are meant to be 20 of the fastest drivers in the world.
Yeah.
This is Formula One. It's the pinnacle of motorsport racing. That's what everybody says.
Apart from
And-
rally fans.
True.
Kimi
But-
Räikkönen.
But you've got
Or
this.
NASCAR.
You've got this one driver who's just there, not on merit at all. Just, Dad,
Just there.
Dad, can I please?
Now, I'd like to be proven wrong, and he
No.
does do well. There's always a chance this year
All right, there's no need to butter up the audience, people. Come on.
I'm giving the other side.
I think
the other
they've
perspective.
thoroughly done their case
To
here.
be fair, if you guys are Lance Stroll fans, I invite you to watch F1 this year. We'll see if there's anything different. I mean, to be fair, they've just been given the greatest designer in Formula One history.
Mm-hmm.
The man literally can produce miracles.
Yes. So you never know, he might do.
So if he was ever going to do it, this is the best time.
And talking about ever going to do it, we're going to segue now into James, your topic. So see where I get with the speaker design. You've been doing a speaker design, haven't you?
Yes, it's been going on a bit longer than I wanted to.
Oh, really?
Yes.
This is your uni?
It's based off my uni project. It's part of what I would class as the range.
Okay.
Of it. It's going to be connected speakers.
So it's
sensors.
Bluetooth speaker.
Yes, Bluetooth speaker. Hopefully, the current scope would be Bluetooth speaker, and then hopefully would get into the Wi-Fi speakers with a Pi and turn it into being able to have my Spotify library on it.
Okay, very nice.
Very nice.
And then eventually, as things goes on, might be able to get a smart assistant. But I think that's quite far in the future right now.
How would you describe the aesthetics of what you've been designing for it? What is your inspiration?
The inspiration, Luke, is something you bought, actually.
Really?
Yes. It's one of those lights that you...
The motor light?
No, it's the dome.
Oh, the Floss Tachia.
Yes.
Yes.
That is a design classic. Love it or hate it, it's a Marmite product, that's for sure.
Well, to be fair, it is a design icon, I believe.
Yes.
According to like the.
I saw it on a magazine earlier, actually.
Yeah.
It's
It
kind
popped
of
up.
like a mixture of that with my current design philosophy, which is very simple and a bit like along the lines of a Sonos speaker. They've got the rounded edges and a bit like the Apple era, except I add fabrics to mine.
Okay.
So it's like a split two-tone.
So you're going with like the Parabola profile,
Yep.
but coated in fabric.
Mhm.
So you're going with, I'm assuming something like a Google Home old fabric.
Yeah, I'm going for I'm going for a speaker fabric,
Very nice.
which would allow the bass to. Well, the bass doesn't have to pass through it, but like the tweeters and things like that. Currently, it's going to have a full range sub or a main speaker, which forget my terminology. I've not looked at it for 2 weeks. Where it has full range from low to mids,
Very nice.
and then I have 2 tweeters, which primarily will focus on the high range.
And how does this differ from the university project you did? How many years ago was that?
The university project was 3.5 years ago, 4
Okay, so
years
3.5
ago.
years ago. What's the step change from that point to your point at the moment that you're going with?
I would say a manufacturing understanding.
Okay.
Design, I think I'm happy with how I designed it back then, visually, but how the parts would fit together and thinking about it. For instance, now that I'm 3D printing it, I'm looking at my costs and things like that a bit more now.
Yeah.
So I'm making, I would say, smarter decisions with it.
You're working smarter, not harder. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And unlike my third year project, which the skeletons worked, but I only created a visual model and not a fully working model.
So you did I'm assuming it's just you did a tech rig and a design?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So the tech rig was just some tubing with, it was a hydroponics, it was just for an office space. And I did like a basic rig with it where it had a fill system and a pump in there. But I never actually turned that into a fully working prototype. I didn't have the knowledge back then. And I think it's a lot easier now to understand like Raspberry Pi. And,
knowledge and wisdom comes with age.
To be fair,
I did want to say that.
These days with everything kind of Raspberry Pi, Arduino, there's so much info online.
Yeah,
it's so much more accessible than it was.
Definitely, because back then everyone there was a good chance, if you came across a problem, you might have actually been one of the first few to come across that problem. Whereas these days, with resources like Stack Overflow and AI,
Yeah, ChatGPT. Write me the code to do this, please. I mean, it might take a few goes, but it normally gets it right.
Yeah, you have to look through that.
I had a question. So your speaker previously, was it a ported speaker?
It was well, there was two. There was I called it True Sound, which was for a home cinema,
Nice. Very nice.
and
I'd
it
buy
was
that.
Fancy.
all on Behance.
Shameless plug.
Oh dear.
And there was a wireless one,
Okay.
all using a very similar system. But I look at it now, it's not. There's some things I should have changed. Like I've got a bit more understanding of speakers now as I've looked into it.
Yeah.
I did go a bit overboard with the tweeters,
Nice.
quite a lot, but
Nice.
and I don't think I built in enough space for the subwoofer,
Okay.
which is what I'm working on now. Whereas I've got the right cavity size for the subwoofers and the amount of backspace for the tweeters.
Very nice.
Understood the importance of bass.
Oh, and yes, and yeah, and not. I want to. This is what the testing is going to be, whether I can make a sturdy enough casing with the 3D prints.
Yeah.
Some people can, like it would end up being having to print a nice outer casing on the big printer,
Yeah.
and then on the bamboo potentially create an inner housing, which has the strength for like the subwoofers and extra mounting points. It might be something to do like that.
Very
Interesting.
nice.
Okay. Yeah. Well, to be fair, with your latest purchase of the bamboo, I suppose it opens you up to using.
Different filament types.
Was
Use the wood.
I feel like one of you mentioned they have like carbon.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
you can
carbon
use
built.
carbon. They've got a metal one, which is what I'm interested in because it's got a weight to it.
Yeah.
So I could have
That could be
a nice out surface area, so an A surface, which would be on the print, sanded, polished. Trying to get it as nice as possible. Whereas the internals could be, it would be nice to have a metal filament, but I don't know how dense that is. If it's good, if it is dense, that'd be great. It means I don't have to have much infill.
Yeah, that's true. And then there's also you could weight it with something else. You don't have to use just the filament.
I have somebody has used. So what they did was printed something hollow with a cavity inside, and paused the print halfway through and put clay in there, and then printed it on top, and it worked really well as a sound dampening.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've seen people put things like magnets and metal in to try and attract magnets inside their prints if you stop it part way.
Yeah, that's probably something what I would do. This is going to be something that I'd like to. If I'm going to build it, I want to build it right now.
I was going to say this sounds like you're going to be testing lots of different prints by the sounds of things.
Yes, yeah. Some of these prints, like on the big printer that somebody in this room had.
Oh no, yes, yeah. What was it called? The
CR10.
CR10 S5.
Yes.
I think
Catchy.
between everyone in this room, there are 5
You've got 2
printers.
I've got 2.
5 3D printers.
I have 3.
You have 3.
I have
I have a normal printer as well. Does that count?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I've got the
There are
curing
5
station.
3D printers and a normal printer.
Yeah.
I have niet.
You've got us.
Huh?
It's okay because you have a fine whiskey collection.
Oh yes,
I
you do have a
have
fine
a
whiskey.
That's the difference here.
No. I've always joked. I mean, probably once setup is done, maybe in time.
You're gonna want bamboo.
I go for the bamboo. I have a Ender Pro 3, which I wish I bought the 5, but I'm really happy with the bamboo.
Yeah.
The bamboo's insane. It's at the point where it's like buying a microwave. You just find a file online, you click the print button on your phone, and a few hours later you've got a thing.
To be fair, I mean you've got to give to them. They've there's been like enough time with all these different companies and all these different 3D printers that they've kind of figured out what works, what doesn't. And I just think bamboo was like the first one to package it up nicest. I think.
They have.
Yeah, there's a few others that have come out now, but they don't seem. Bamboo just have the quality and the speed that I've found so
Yeah.
far.
Yeah,
I mean,
they seem like a more professional company as well, and
Yes.
they seem to actually like they'll admit if they've got something wrong. I've seen them like recall certain filaments because they're not good enough, and send a apology to the people that bought it.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane. They've really changed like consumer expectations for what a 3D printer company should do.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the end, like, who make Ender? Is it
Is it
Creality?
Creality.
They make some nice new printers.
Yeah.
There's a new one that I looked at that's just been brought out. I think I can't remember the name of it now.
They used to be huge back in the day.
Yeah.
That was the
Reality was like
OG.
the printer.
And you had to, I mean, fair dues, you had to build it, but it was good.
Yeah.
But I think back then, I bought my first one in lockdown, like quite a lot of people. But like the bed wasn't.
It wasn't flat.
Yeah, it wasn't flat.
You probably had to bolt something on like what was it called? The BL Touch.
BL Touch, yeah.
To try and level it every time. It was you had adhesion issues because they weren't using necessarily the best materials for the plates.
Yeah, and the actual heat beds they weren't powerful enough.
No.
Whereas now they've actually increased it. You've got zonal heating now.
Yes.
But when you look at what you could get the Bamboo, which yes, it doesn't have a big bed size, it works.
Imagine when they do a big bed size though.
Yeah,
That's
Surely-
going to be
surely that's what's
amazing.
There's
next.
one coming at I think 10 centimeters bigger than the current one, so I think it's three.
Sold.
for-
Need it.
Well,
which we will probably end up.
We're going to have a print farm just
Yeah.
because they keep releasing a bigger bed every year.
They were, I believe they were meant to announce something at the end of last year, but they said they were going to push it back into early this year.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
rumored bigger printer.
Yes. Oh, is that it? Oh, okay. Because
There was rumours of multicolour, wasn't there? Like a normal printer mixed with a 3D.
Head,
Yes.
multi-head. So like actually having a selection of heads that you could just go swap in, swap out.
Like Prusa, is it?
Yeah, I think they're the
They
ones
do.
that do it.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
okay.
they're good. They have I think it's 5 print heads,
Hmm.
and it just connects onto them each one. But
Oh, they go across and change
Yeah.
and then and
It-
then magnetic or
yeah,
something.
it helps. It helps with not having to waste filament, and
Yeah.
I would like
Yeah.
to see it. I think what would be interesting is what's quicker, extruding a colour through
Yeah, or changing
or
the
changing
head.
the head.
I mean, it's better for the environment, so top
Yeah.
marks there.
But
Yeah.
then, from my very limited knowledge of 3D printers, isn't
Finish
it?
on a dum dum bitch.
Yes. Yes. I believe, like the temperature of the nozzle was quite important to you
Yes,
guys,
very.
right?
Yes.
So
And
if
it
you
depends on
think
each type
you're-
of filament.
You're changing, a head.
Yeah. It
Like,
sounds
like-
like,
like,
it's,
are you
it
gonna-
sounds like it'll have issues, right?
Like, are you gonna have a separate heating assembly for
Yeah,
the nozzles?
it's basically it's a the nozzle assembly. So you've
Yeah.
got the nozzle, the extruder, and the heater,
Yeah.
all basically come into one block.
Yeah.
That's what they swap out.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay.
So it's the
If
Yeah,
you're
it's not-
changing just the nozzle, if you're changing just the nozzle, you'd have the issue where if the nozzle doesn't correctly connect, you're not going to get the heat transfer
No.
onto the nozzle.
Yeah.
So you'd have to do that whole block.
yeah, it's the whole block that swaps, and each one's got it's its own. So it's got its own pipe going into each individual color
Mhm.
or whatever material you want.
Right.
Which then it just like pull it, locks it in, and then it'll connect heat. It might preheat beforehand, which might be
Okay.
a good thing. But yeah, it's just a whole block head. It swaps out, and I think it's got 5 of them. It's a big printer.
It's crazy.
I think it's about the same bed size. I think it's based off the CR10 V5, is it?
S5.
S5.
Oh, that's a big boy.
I was going to say, at the rate they're going, I mean, let's say they do manage that. We're approaching, CNC level tech, where you watch like the
You watch it happen in front of your eyes.
yeah,
and it's done.
because
Yeah.
it changes heads so quick. Or some of them actually have like the different tools like on a rotating arm,
Yes.
effectively.
There's that. The good thing about print, I said the limitation about FDM printers, which is the filament
Yeah.
printers, is you are limited by the speed of the motors,
Right.
and you're limited by how fast it can do a layer.
Mhm.
Whereas Bamboo have done a really good job. They've got quite a few motors, and the algorithm tries to stop it from shaking around,
Yep.
which is what causes the bad prints. in a
Sorry.
way.
You can
Just
intentionally make it worse.
I was gonna say, just let you know, we're not sponsored by Bamboo Labs,
No.
but we would gladly take a sponsorship from them. Bamboo Labs, if you're listening
We
to
would
us.
take any
We
sponsorship.
We'll
We
take
can
any
talk nothing but
sponsorship.
good things about
We
them.
will,
And we will be
talk
honest.
nothing but
we will
good.
be very honest, but in general, we have nothing bad to say.
I mean, I feel like I'm echoing what I said earlier in my YouTube video that I was recording.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm using a Bamboo Labs printer with a Bamboo Labs AMS and Bamboo Labs filament.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. Please sponsor us, Bamboo Labs.
I mean, we're going to skip into a different topic quickly on here because I've got 3 things in front of me. But for those listening, these are 3 essentially Warhammer Terminator miniatures that I've done for a video this week. And 2 of them are done on the FDM, and 1 of them is done on the resin printer. Now, can you tell which one was done on the resin printer?
Do you want me to have a
I
guess?
think
'Cause I'm the one who
whilst we
knows
let
nothing.
Gresham have a good look, that was the other segue I was going to do, was
Yeah.
onto resin printers, which is the next, I think is going to be the best way of printing soon.
Oh,
Because
yes.
you are limited only by the movement of the motor to bring the plate up.
Yeah.
Because you've got like these new ones, like you got the 4K one, which you have, I believe.
Yeah, I've got a 4K one.
Whereas you've got 9K, 16K.
I don't understand what these Ks stand for at a
I
certain
believe,
point.
from what I understand, it's resolution.
Okay.
Because they use each layer is built off of one screen. It's like it takes a snapshot and then it goes onto your next one. It brings the resin over, and that's how they build it, which is like FDM but quicker.
All right, I can
Brings
see.
it onto this.
I
which
can
one-
see that you have separated them. How did you separate them? Is it weight?
So did you say that there were 2 resin, 1?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
wait,
no, I want to see what you've done.
What were the 3 options?
There's 2 FDMs and then there's 1 resin.
Yowza.
So what I did
So
was I positioned and oriented the resin and 1 of the FDMs myself, and then the other one is the FDM as it was on the Bamboo Labs website.
okay. So I'm gonna guess this was FDM as it was on Bamboo Labs website.
So look.
I'm purely basing
Yeah.
this on the layer lines. They are,
Yes,
you know,
they're pretty horrendous
they're
on this one.
pretty bad, and it means it also ruins the detail.
It does.
On,
So yeah, this one was printed standing upright. So there was a lot of overhangs and a lot of support for it.
I believe this is your next FDM. But the thing is,
Yes.
not gonna lie, at a quick glance, that one stood out so much.
I know.
And these 2, I was like, oh, I think these 2 must be the resin ones because they're actually not like too crazy.
The point of my video is I'm trying to say that if you need to buy a printer and you want to use it for miniatures and you want to use it for other stuff, do you need to buy 2 printers still? Do you need that resin printer? Or can you get away with just buying a P1S or an X1 Carbon?
Tell you
And
what,
I think you could get away with just getting the Carbon now.
from the front. So like now that I've actually looked at it from the front, I can, you know, it's you could tell a difference, but it's hard. It's hard
Yeah.
to tell the difference.
Did you say?
But it's just the moment you turn it to the side and the back,
Yeah.
you see the details start to like fall away.
So there's this was all done with just PLA. So when it came to the supports, it was PLA as well. You can now get PVA support material and PLA support material. So I'm intrigued to see. I might do a future video where I actually talk about, right, I've got these support materials, and does it mean that this actually hits the nail on the head now?
You might be able to increase the support. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
If you could do that.
But it's at the moment that was, I think it was on standard, whatever the hell the standard
Two.
the tree supports are. I haven't touched it since buying the printer. Basically, I just click tree supports and it goes. Ba-doo. The only thing that I did that was different between these 2, I think that the standard one, they uploaded it as a standard print. See, on the Bamboo Labs, you have standard, fine, ultra fine, and then something else. So this was the highest resolution I printed on. It took less time on the FDM printer than on a resin printer. Now that is on its head to what it was 5 to 10 years ago.
That's just on what I was saying. I thought
It's-
that the resin would be
Of course, if you want to build, say, 10 of these guys in a row on the build plate, the resin printer would still be quicker because
print them all at once.
yeah, it prints layer by layer. It doesn't have to move a physical nozzle like an SLA or FDM. But if you wanted to do one-off D&D miniatures and you paint them up, you maybe use them for a few weeks, and then you get rid of it because you got a new character, I can't see the reason why you'd need a resin printer anymore if you had that FDM. Of course, I also say, like, yeah, if you want to print to the highest quality and then go into painting competitions, you're going to want a resin printer anyway.
Of course.
That's still a no-brainer. You probably wouldn't even want the resin printer I've got because it's only a 4K. But if you're using it for tabletop gaming, you're not going to look any closer than that than you are now.
It needs to look good from this kind of distance
Yeah.
we're talking.
And you can always sand it down a little bit if it's.
Well, yeah, I didn't do any finishing on it at all. I just pulled it off the supports so that I could give it an easy.
Yeah, I was going to say, weren't you... remind me, you were looking at using some kind of vapor...
Oh boy, oh boy, that is a.
I know it didn't end too well, but it was a cool idea in
Well,
theory.
funnily enough, you remember that large glass vase you commented on before the podcast?
Yes.
That was the first version of trying to do vapor smoothing with ABS. It didn't work.
Can you explain vapor smoothing to the audience?
Vapor smoothing. So what you do is you get a large container, you put some acetone inside it, you then put a little plinth, and you put your print on top of it. Then you need to provide heat from underneath to essentially evaporate that acetone inside the container.
Yep.
And another thing you can do is then put a fan in so it circulates the vapor.
Okay.
That is like the optimal result. I haven't managed it successfully yet. I've done 2.5 iterations now. The thick glass jar was too thick to transmit heat. So I could get the acetone in there, and it basically, instead of smoothing, the part was sitting inside the thing for so long, it didn't really heat and smooth so much as sucked inside and melted.
Oh.
So I picked it up, and the whole thing was like wobbly, like it was made of rubber. So it's more acetone than ABS, twisted and evil.
It sounds like a bit of a balancing game.
Yeah.
Even if you did get the vapor system to work, it sounds like you have to really time it. Otherwise, too much. Because effectively,
You have to be really careful.
From what I know of acetone, it's quite aggressive. It's going to eat away at anything. So you really have to time it, and then I'm assuming you have to wash off.
I've never tried it.
You can put it outside and just let it dry off.
Oh wow! Okay.
The second version I did was a clear plastic, very useful box, and I bought one of those. Well, you know, when you go to an Indian restaurant, they've got all those candles in the middle.
Oh yeah.
To keep it warm. Well, there's a new version. It's electric that you can get where you plug it in, and it's basically just a big heat pad that goes friggin' hot.
Nice.
It actually advises not to put it on any burnable surfaces because the underside burns lines onto things, as we might have found out with the living room table. But I put it on top of box. I drilled some holes. I attached a fan. I made a little plinth to put the part on. The plastic, of course, doesn't pull in enough heat. It's not a good conductor naturally.
No, of course not.
Which is annoying because I saw someone else online manage it and I was really confused. But the next thing I've seen, I found a video where someone had gone through it and they made this very industrial thing. They welded pipes together, big pipe of metal. And then I was looking at it and going, wait 1 second. That's a pan. I haven't bought it yet, but I found a massive stainless steel pan with a lid.
Oh, wait.
And stainless steel?
Is this the classic massive stainless steel saucepan for pasta that you can get from IKEA?
Very similar.
Oh, okay.
Very similar. This one is about, I want to say, I think it was 25-30 diameter.
Okay.
But really tall. I think I've got one similar already, but I don't want to use it for this.
That's fair.
Which I use for jam making, because I'm an old man. Thank you, everyone. So the plan is I'm going to use the base pad I've got, get this stainless steel pan, and then I think I'm going to probably just drop in the fan rather than cut the holes in and test that it works before I actually cut into this thing. Because otherwise I could just use it as a pan. It seems like a waste, because at the moment I've now got a very useful box which isn't sealed and is up in the loft with no use to man or beast. So yeah, it's been, I'm going to say, quite an expensive process, because the initial glass jar I think was somewhere around 50 quid. And I don't have a use for it now. And I had it for too long, so I couldn't return it. And then I've got this very useful box with no whatsoever use, which was another about 20 quid, I think. So yeah, I would love to be able to print off a piece of Stormtrooper or Scout Trooper armor.
Please hold. Our lighting just went off.
Hey.
Hey.
And let there be light.
I would love to print a piece of Scout Trooper or Stormtrooper armor and put it into a box and just let it smooth and not have to stand there for hours on end sanding, which was kind of the point why I bought so much ABS originally.
Yeah.
I've now rinsed through every bit of ABS that I
Really?
bought trying to do this.
Wow.
So I've spent probably a good 40 to 50 on plastic as well. So yeah, if anybody has any recommendations of an exact build to do something relatively large, like the whole build plate of a Bamboo Labs printer, please
Please email.
help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're
Luke
my only
at-
hope.
Luke makes a lot of mistakes.
I do make mistakes, but I'm
LukeNeedsHelp.com.
quick with them.
Toomuch.com.
I don't buy too much.
Um,
Yeah, you'll be thankful when this becomes
yeah.
popular. and
No,
we're all
no,
like,
no.
Exhibit A, Your Honour.
yeah, Exhibit A, 24
No,
hours.
I was gonna say I feel like I really can't be the one to like, call you
No.
out on this, because I spent egregious amounts of money on stupid stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on from the 3D printer chats and stupid stuff, I've also been working on some other videos. One is called Crap Pipes. Would you care to guess what that is about?
You see, the first time he mentioned crap pipes, I fully heard crack pipes, and I was like, God damn.
Well, you know, I'm
don't
at
think
that
it's
age where I should be Breaking Bad, right?
I was like, whoa, what are we getting?
What's my name? Heisenberg. You're goddamn right. So yeah, Crap Pipes it's about basically using crap, toilet rolls, aka something you throw away, and upcycling it into something incredibly good. Actually, I do say so myself.
It really is. It looks amazing.
Wargaming terrain. It's on a 12-inch square base, so the plan is to do lots of these bases, push them all together, and you can make a massive Warhammer board. And this one, I actually filmed it back in 2023, I think. And I've just got back into trying to edit together and do videos for YouTube. So the project itself was completed a while ago, and I had to dig it out of storage to actually finish it. But I will be doing more of them like that. And I quite like the idea of upcycling trash to turn into things that are useful. It's good for the environment. It's free most part. I mean, even the basing material I use on it. So the mud on it is coffee and tea and sand. So all of the basing stuff that I use now is like essentially like a few quid to do so much.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. I've also got some ideas for doing an Easter episode. Yeah. I'm going away from the zombie Jesus stuff. I think I'll get too much hate for that. Just a little bit. I think I'll probably go with something around.
Easter Bunny?
Yeah.
Nice.
I feel like making a really creepy Easter bunny, or somehow deforming the Easter eggs in a way that could be like a D&D monster might be an interesting take.
Oh, there could be like hatchlings.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot you can do.
That's a
with
good
that.
one-shot story.
Oh yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah, that would be
Dude,
fun.
we could do a one shot.
That'd
We
be
could do a-
fun.
Yeah, that could be fun.
With all of the terrain that I built over a
That
year.
could be quite dope.
You're getting back
Where-
more into videos now, aren't you?
Yeah. So I've completed Crap Pipe 1. I've now completed the FDM versus resin printer. Oh well, I just need to finish editing the end of that. But tomorrow I'll be moving on to one of those topics. I've also got various comparison stuff. So years ago, I bought probably £250 worth of Rust effects. Yeah, yeah, and then had to cancel doing YouTube for various reasons for quite a while, and now I'm back onto it. I'm like, I hope that hasn't all dried out now, because I don't want to restock it. Because I was going to do a video called "Anybody Know Rust?" Yeah.
Oh dear.
When are you gonna
for
check
any of the
this?
viewers that don't know what he's referencing,
So old.
so old. But well, to be fair, a lot of services have banned.
Yeah, Little Britain.
It's Little Britain.
There was a point where I was thinking I should probably get a wig and dress up like the character. I was like, no, I can't do that.
I think that's just a bit too far.
That's too far. But yeah, Anybody Know Rust was going to be the title of that. And I think there was somewhere around probably about 30 to 40 different Rust products that I bought. There is a lot of stuff when you search the word Rust on places like Wayland Games. And I just bought them all, including some very difficult to buy Italia paint called Rust, which I had to import from Europe and got hit by customs.
Oh Jesus!
So yeah,
Have you checked any of this? Have you checked any of this?
not for a while.
Ooh.
I think part of the video is going to be, let's hope this is all okay.
Where is it?
It's been stored in the nerd room.
Right.
So it's been in normal climatic conditions, but at the same time, none of the bottles have been opened.
Oh, it's
A lot of it is dropper bottles, so they're sealed. I'm pretty certain the Games Workshop one Rise of Rust is dead, because their bottles are just notoriously bad for drying out on the shelves.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how they keep you going. They keep buying more paint because they dry out.
But considering how like big a company Games Workshop is,
It's a business model. There has to be, because every other brand has gone to dropper bottles in the last 5 years.
yeah.
But Games Workshop, no, we brought out these new bottles that dry out even faster.
I just like to imagine that there's like a dedicated team and like two people just being like, right, how do we continue to change these bottles so we can get people to spend more money?
Well, I swear that the washes like Nuln Oil, which is the black wash,
Yeah.
comes in a slightly taller bottle. Making that slightly taller offsets the center of gravity for the bottle,
Right.
and it takes the tiniest tap to accidentally knock the whole thing over. And this is not a normal paint, so it's a more expensive paint. So just before I think I stopped doing YouTube last time, I rebottled every single Games Workshop paint, siphoning it through a funnel into a dropper bottle. It took 3 weeks. Because when I first got into Warhammer, I did that thing that a fair few people do when they've got too much expendable income, because COVID hit. And I was just basically using it like a collectible and buying paint. And I think I had somewhere in excess of 400 paints at one point. And there's only so many shades of blue you actually need. So yeah, I have an issue there. So one of the things, talking about paint, I'm also prepared originally was, after the Rust, I had white. So one of the most difficult paints, the two main ones are yellow and white. Yep. So I bought a white paint from every single range. Again, now these ones I know some of them are dried out as well, which is really upsetting. But it wasn't
very spenny.
Very spenny. I mean, any useful comparison video on YouTube, unless you're sponsored, is ridiculously expensive.
That's true.
Because if I compare
Hashtag
3
sponsored.
paints, someone will always write in the description, "Oh, have you tried this? Oh, what about this one?" I use this one. It's far better. If I literally just wipe the board and say, right, I'm buying every single paint imaginable of this colour,
Try 'em all out just for you guys.
just for you, no one ever needs to do that again as well, which is great. No, I mean, it's great for me because it means I've got the go-to video, but at the same time, I'm quite light of pocket from doing it, and possibly twice if I have to rebuy some of it.
Surely at that point you just don't do the video.
I think at that point I'd have to. unfortunately cave into the gremlins of YouTube and not have some of the things.
Yeah.
The things that I'm certain to find are I've got things that are pigments. So basically it's like a chalk powder. So you brush it over the top and it gives like this chalky texture, like it's like have rust deposits on it.
That's cool.
So there's a different way of doing it, which I've actually never done before. And one of the parts of that video is going to have to be, I need to work out how to use this stuff.
Yeah, and what to apply it to.
Yeah, because I've tried mixing it before with stuff, and if you do that, it just turns into paint because it's a pigment. So there must be a way, and I just haven't looked into it enough. So that's going to be part of that video. But yeah, the overall, it's mainly, the most of the stuff I'm probably going to be doing is I'm going to do comparison stuff. I've got this ongoing project of making a gaming board for 40k. But at the same time, this is a good way for me to segue into my new favourite thing. Thanks to our good friend John, who has basically brainwashed me by just saying, "Oh, look at this thing," and I'm like, "Oh wow."
Now, Luke wants to also justify buying his 3D printer. Just let that.
Trench Crusade is the most grimdark thing possible, even when compared to Warhammer. Do you know what Trench Crusade is?
No.
Unfortunately, from what you've been telling me, I have an understanding.
Understand. Basically, take 40k, place it in the time period of the First World War,
Beautiful. Great time period.
but it isn't. Calm down.
Sorry. Sorry.
We know
But
you
it
like
isn't
pain.
what you expect. Instead, during the Crusades in the past, somebody discovered something like a demon idol or something, and now literal demons walk on Earth. So instead of having countries that are the nations of the world, it's kind of more based around each religion has a sect, and they all basically are trying to eliminate the opposition being the demons on Earth.
Why do I feel like this is not too far from the premise of Call of Duty Zombies?
A little bit, yeah.
Because, you know, you had the World War, and then the guy was like ricked off and did the
Yep.
zombies thing, and then suddenly everyone's united. Okay.
Very similar. But then they're not fully united.
But
That's the thing.
Yes, okay, so you have different religious sects.
Yeah. Of course, the most like dramatic looking one I think is the Catholic Church and Christianity, because it's just like for the designers, it's like crusade pornography of armor. It's just
God.
insane.
I think for this one, for the video, we'll have to put it on the screen.
Yes.
For you
Dramatic
to understand.
lighting.
Yeah, it's just
Perfect.
you've got these guys in full suits of armor, but with friggin' rifles. Yeah.
Nice.
But they've got a sword as well, and they've got shields to go against the bullets.
What makes you think this one's... You seem to be speaking about this better than 40k. Or...
Well, the rules are easy. It's a very simple mechanic of point and shoot, and basically every single character has some traits that are unique, but they all share the same arsenal. So you've got your massive Goliaths, but they're also armed with the same weaponry as, say, the Grunts, just maybe more of them. So it takes out that confusing mechanic that 40k's got with it. Well, it used to be blast radiuses, and every single troop has a completely different thing. You basically need to learn maybe 10 weapons off the top of your head, which is nothing compared to 40k. And not only that, it's the way they've done it is it's accessible to people that maybe don't have a massive budget. So the creators of the game have said it is model agnostic, which is unheard of in the wargaming community. You've got people like Games Workshop won't even let you enter a game if you don't have official Games Workshop miniatures.
Really?
Do they not allow you to have a percentage?
No, not anymore.
Oh, right.
I think the only thing I've seen people get away with at the moment is probably helmet swaps and head swaps.
How do they check?
Oh, they have people that know their stuff.
Seriously?
Yeah. And also
You
they'll
can tell a
check.
3D print versus an injection molded.
No, I get that, but the thing is, like, if you nail like the scale and model, and the thing is, like, I've seen
Yeah.
some of these armies. These are like,
I don't think any of my armies are currently legal. So not only have they in recent years gone to the extreme of that you really shouldn't be using it if you want to use it in tournaments. The other thing that I realized, didn't realize when I started doing my 40k army, is that the bases actually matter on what size you use. So you've got different size bases. You've got 25 and a 32 mil, and it goes all the way up to I think 80. But they really matter. So I've actually modelled all of my army with disadvantage because of their base sizes. So basically, because if the base sticks out slightly of cover,
Yeah.
they can shoot the base and it counts.
So it's not based on the miniature's body itself.
It's also the base.
I'm sorry, I feel like that's a little bit
Exactly.
silly.
Yeah, that's another reason that I'm a bit annoyed. And the other thing is, if you have a piece of cover, say it's like 10 centimeters long, you have to line up a certain troop. So I've got a Space Marine squad all in a line behind that for cover. The way that Warhammer mechanic works is if you shoot enough bullets at the guy slightly sticking out, it goes down the line of the Space Marines. So individually they'll get killed off for if the first one's invisible. Yeah. So that was a great discovery after I'd finished a massive army.
So I guess you're going to be shaping those bases.
I looked at it, and the thing is, with my army, I spent maybe as much time doing the bases as I did the miniatures because I sculpted each base,
Right.
mainly with dead Ultramarines on because they're horrible blue boys. But that's besides the point. And then I've then done all of my terrain with exactly the same basing as well. So I'd have to basically undo all my work and then redo it all, which is probably another year's worth of work in between the job.
No,
So
it doesn't seem worth it,
it's-
especially if they keep changing the rules every 6
yeah,
months.
Yeah, based on everything I've seen of Games Workshop, like they seem to be changing so much that I feel like if you're going to be like in 40k like full time or like you're committed to it, you're changing your stuff out every year.
you are, and the rule sets change, the point systems change.
That's so
and
expensive.
I finished mine at the end of, I think it was 9th edition, wasn't it? And I was like, yeah, I've got my army. I swear, within 2 days of me finishing that army, 10th edition was announced.
Nice,
The new book comes out.
nice.
Standard Space Marines don't really have many rules anymore.
Oh.
You have to have the new models they've released of the
larger
Primaris.
Yeah.
And I, on purpose, bought Rogue Trader. So this is the 1980s models.
Yeah.
So I had a variety of Space Marines. So yeah, that was a great story. So yeah, Trench Crusade is great because it's model agnostic.
Nice.
What I've done is I've got a box of shame basically, which is I've called oddballs. It's just all the cool models. I went, oh, I want that one, and I've picked out the ones that will fit for this particular warband. And then the plan is I'll do a video on this, but it's sculpting over the top of those to turn them into. It's kind of like a version of Nurgle in 40k, so they're all diseased. It's Beelzebub's sect.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's going to be fun. And you know what? I don't think the rules are going to change either because they're still on playtest rules. I think it's over a
Have they
year
already
in.
said that though. What you were telling me, or you and John were telling me.
Pardon?
You and John were telling me that they were aiming to keep the rules as consistent as possible.
Yeah.
As opposed to changing them and every 20 odd days. It
Yeah.
feels like.
It sounds like the creators of Trench Crusade were just really annoyed Warhammer 40k fans.
Well, I believe one of them used to work for Games Workshop. Like a long time ago.
Okay.
And I think that's the illustrator, possibly. And then the other one worked on another famous game that I've heard of, but I've never played as well. So it's like based on those rule sets, but it's with the illustrations and ideas of like a grim, dark universe. So yeah, it's really cool. And I'd recommend everyone look it up because the more people that get involved, the more we can like put it to the man and actually say, look, we need an agnostic game for miniatures. Because otherwise what you end up doing is just spend your whole time painting this massive army. Then you never get to play it. And then you have to start all over again. But then there's this small warband game, so skirmish game, so which are far more accessible for people that don't have as much time as people that play 40k. And they got like, I think mine is currently 6 models. That's my whole warband, and that is going to take so much little time, so little time that I can spend time sculpting my own models.
Yeah.
Which,
But the rules won't change by the time.
and the rules won't change. It's brilliant, and it's what more games companies should really lean into. Especially, I think they need to start to reach that point where they realise that 3D printers are a large part of this hobby now, because in the past you had to rely on them as a source of the models themselves, but now there's hundreds of people online sculpting and releasing stuff for free or for a subscription. You can download and print as many as you want.
Yeah. And then technically off of like the top of that, you've then got people who kind of printed them out and then like they'll paint them in different custom manners.
There's so many ways to paint it. You can print it out. You can then sculpt on top with something like green stuff, and it's something new again.
You can add background, well, not backgrounds, but like the ground around it.
Yeah, the basing, all of the basing.
Yeah.
You can put it on a scenic base. So yeah, there's more companies need to work out what the people are asking for at the moment. And I feel like Trench Crusade is possibly the first step in the right direction.
Just hope it doesn't get bought out by.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think from a business point of view, maybe there's not too much to be made
No.
from it, but I can definitely see it's like it's been made for the people.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is what might keep it going.
Yeah,
It
that's
might
true.
not be
That's
as
true.
big, but
Yeah.
if it gets
I think
people.
that's what will keep it going. Especially, they do make their own miniatures, but they make a digital model
That's nice.
that you can download. Then you can just print it as much as you want. So that almost feels like a possibility for the future of someone like Games Workshop. I don't think they're going to for a long time.
Well,
they-
make the money from the print.
They make so much of a markup on
It's
plastic.
currently too lucrative. They're like their current business model's working.
It is. So and then they've also gone into things like video games, which we know of now, don't we? Everybody, yes.
Yeah.
I might have brainwashed you guys into playing some Warhammer games.
Maybe. Potentially.
So me and Gresh are still doing Space Marine 2 when we finally get time to with
Yep.
John.
Yep.
And all 3 of us, we play Dark Tide
With John as well.
with John
John as well.
or Rich.
John seems to be a common factor here.
John, yes.
Yeah.
He has an infectious personality.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
He is. So yeah, we've been doing that. Did you know that the Dark Tide
It's okay, he's online.
is he?
Yeah.
Of course he is.
We're not calling him. No. Did you know that the Dark Tide there's actually official models for it?
No.
Not as in like gaming. These things are like this tall.
Oh, like
They're-
models you put on the shelf and you look at.
Yeah, the McFarlane, like the
That's
ones that I painted for my computer.
Hmm.
So I've actually got the.
Giant Ogren.
There is one.
Of course.
There's an Ogren. There's the veteran.
I mean, I feel like so the Ogren's like the only, I would say, one of the only physically noticeable, like
Yeah.
different ones. Because otherwise, trying to tell between a psyker, a veteran, and a
Yeah.
zealot is going to be
They,
very
well,
difficult.
they did the veteran, and then I haven't seen a psych. They might have done it, but they've definitely done a
Zealot.
chaosy veteran. So the ones that you shoot
Oh, okay, that's cool.
with all the spikes and stuff. And I've also seen, what was the other one? There's a Chaos Space Marine as well. I don't know if that's the Dark Tide set or if that's a different set. But yeah, there's a few out there now.
Okay.
So that's interesting. They're also it's really weird. So if you describe it, there is a board game of models which generated a video game, which then generated a giant model.
Which came first? We know.
The game over game.
So yeah, it's they've got a different business model now to what they did, I would say 15 years ago when they were just doing miniature games, and they've branched out so much further. They always did like PC games, like there was what was it, Warcraft at War or something, and Age of what was it? It was like Age of Empires.
Then you mentioned Vermintide.
And there was Vermintide. That was the predecessor to Darktide,
Yeah.
which is based in fantasy old world.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, just kill rats.
Yep.
Yeah.
Space Marine 1. Space Marine
Yeah, and Space Marine 1. But it's evolving now to this point where it's more than the board game.
Yeah.
People are coming into Warhammer because
Of the video.
video game.
Well, you're getting like the TV show, well, the Amazon special that they've done.
Yeah, the Amazon special.
Not gonna lie, whoever was involved in that Amazon special deserves major props.
Yeah.
I thought it was so well done. Like,
Do you remember years ago there was that animation on YouTube?
Astartes.
Yes.
do you think it was the same?
It's the same.
That makes so much more
Yeah.
sense because
Well-
I thought it was so well.
Or at least
done.
I'd
think
assume
is.
it was.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because GW did buy Astartes off of the guy and say, come and work for
Well,
us.
he works there. I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just remember like one of the first scenes where it's just like all 4 Space Marines just in a valley, in a channel, effectively.
Yeah.
And there's a tanker, a truck, just driving towards them, and I think who's the main Space Marine from Space Marine 2? I can't believe I forgot the name. No, Son of Gilliman.
The guy with the dots on his head.
We know his name. We know his name. Come on, guys.
Yeah, you're the one that likes Warhammer lore.
I don't.
You love Warhammer more than me, Gresh.
Well, there is that moment where like he just kind of like runs straight through and just like literally cleaves
Yeah.
the Jeep in half, and it was just so well animated. The slow mo, the even like the blood effects when he was fighting the. I don't know what creature he was fighting, but it was some some order of chaos.
Oh, I can't remember who it was against now. But yeah, no, it was incredible animation. The one minor criticism I have of Warhammer is they always do something which has been nicknamed bolter porn, and it's always Space Marines shooting stuff.
They do love their bolt. Actually, no, I take that back. I feel like
The chainsaw.
the chainsword came out a fair few times in that.
But it's still Space Marines beating people up. There is so much more to 40k.
No, there isn't.
Space Marines are beating people up.
I just want to watch Space Marines and I want to see them blow people up, and that's it. So there. You're that guy.
It's
If you did miniatures, you would be that Ultramarine player that everyone stares at like, oh, not Ultramarines. Wouldn't you?
Another one.
no. I think we decided who I was.
Oh yeah, you went for
I think it was
Dark Angels.
Yeah.
Moody Boys.
Although it is quite funny, my character in Dark Angels, I've got pretty normal Dark Angels armor, the dark green, and then a single golden fist, which because I've got the punching ability.
Yeah.
So rather than the chainsword, I just have a big punch.
And that's for a good beep. Anyway, we might actually get into Warhammer, so we're going to go to the next topic. Gresham.
Hello.
What have you learnt about Warhammer this week?
Oh God.
Or 2 weeks, maybe.
What have you learnt from then to today?
A little bit of context. I about 3 months ago
Got brainwashed.
knew nothing about Warhammer.
Was indoctrinated.
Was indoctrinated, yes. I started playing the video games. It was great fun. And then the guys were like, oh, you gotta like read the books and play the game. And I was like,
I recommended Lorehammer straight away
Yeah.
within like 30 seconds of saying you were playing the game.
And the thing is, like, the game itself was really fun, and like the campaign for Space Marine 2 was actually done pretty well.
Yeah.
And it kind of suggested there was like this big story behind it. I was like, okay, fine. So, and shout out Lorehammer. I have been listening to them pretty religiously. They have quite a backlog of episodes.
There is.
There's
Yeah.
so much. And yeah, I don't know. I've been going through it, and it is interesting. But in what I've learned, last episode I listened to was about the Tyranids.
The Tyranids, okay.
Or the Nids, as they
Nids.
call them.
Yeah.
They're just... So, from what I understand, there's very little known about them, apart from the fact that they are truly the only, like, alien race to come from outside the known universe.
And there's the rumor that they're running.
That they're running away. But
Yeah.
like, everyone on Lorehammer just seemed to, like, disagree on as to whether that was true or not. I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. No, but
It's the standard Games Workshop thing of, we'll give you just enough information to make a new model for it. but not enough for you to know it all.
It's smart. It's smart. It means that like you kind of got to keep going to like find out more. Hopefully.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm willing to bet nobody in Games Workshop's like got like a solid answer saying yes, they are running away from X. You know, they're
They
like,
don't.
we'll when we want to make a bit more money, we'll chuck that answer. in.
Yeah, it'll be an expansion at some point, or edition 20.
But so Tyranids, aliens that are wanting to consume everything that's matter based.
Yeah.
So they will go destroy everything that's environmental, and anything that's got matter and life, they'll take it. Which is why they won't read. They're not interested in the Necron, but if the Necron attack them, they will attack back.
Yeah, they'll defend.
They'll defend, but but they are just alien creatures. But did you know that their ships that they fly in are also creatures?
Massive alien creatures. Yeah.
What the hell is going on?
So you know that Warhammer is just a massive rip-off of every sci-fi ever done. So what we're saying here is you've learnt about NIDS and you've discovered that they are the same as the aliens in Alien and Aliens and Alien
Yes.
3.
Yeah.
They eat everything. They've
Yep.
got acid for blood.
Yep.
They look quite similar.
Yeah.
And you know when they start to take over ships, it just turns into this big organic life form
Yeah.
on the inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Warhammer next to the next level where it's like, no. The ship is the creature.
Yep. Yeah. The ship is the creature, but then at the same time, like when they, because they broke down like how they go about kind of like taking over a planet, the ship will just kind of chill, and then there's a worm that defies all known physics,
Called Wiggly Woo.
and there's an entrance or there's an opening to the worm. Let's say the mouth of the worm is in the ship. Suddenly there's an opening on the planet.
Oh.
There isn't a physical.
Black holes.
It's chaos.
Space
I
station.
don't understand. But as far as I understand,
Science.
Tyranids don't mess with the whole world of chaos and stuff like that. Like they don't
No.
have any links or affiliates to it, but they still do stuff weirdly.
Yep. Yep. They're the most non-chaos thing ever
It's
in
so
40k.
But the guys in Warhammer were saying maybe the best strategy like for humanity actually might be to, because you got the Tyranids coming from outer space into from outside the universe into the universe, and you've got the other big problem in the universe are the orcs.
Oh yeah.
So the theory is if we push the orcs all the way to the edge of the universe, they're going to have to deal with the never-ending Tyranids.
That's true.
But then the orcs will also never die, and because they're just spores.
And they'll just love it because they love war.
Well, but they're also just spores.
Yeah.
You can't kill them. You kill them, they grow back.
So for some
They're
context,
fungi.
orcs are fungus.
Orcs
They're
are
basically
fungus.
mushrooms.
It's
So-
bloody brilliant. But then at the same time, the Tyranids, they adapt to whichever enemy they're facing.
Yep.
So they're only going to get better killing more orcs, but then the orcs regenerate. It's just going to be
But the way that orcs technology also works is their belief system will be they always believe that they have a gun that can kill a Tyranid.
Absolutely.
So they'll always be able to
love
kill
it.
each other. So they'll just be stuck on a war on the edge of the universe.
And they'll
out of
believe
the
they
way.
can constantly kill them, but they can't kill them all the time.
Yes.
But
But they need good sport.
Yes.
I think this is a viable tactic.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should tell the Emperor to sort this shit out.
Oh dear.
Get him out.
He's having a snooze on his throne. That's all that's happening.
Yeah, but he's alive.
Yes.
Yes.
Shit.
Yes. All of the Space Marine leaders that go and see him in secret definitely see him alive and talk to him. Definitely don't make up what they say.
Well, he speaks to them mentally. I'm sure.
So if you're not sold on Warhammer yet, find out more about Warhammer on the next episode. When we find out what Gresham has learnt about again and see what I've built towards it. Okay, so the other thing that we've got, which is video game related, is James Minecraft.
Oh, I play a little bit.
So this is
Just
a
a wee
game
bit.
designed for children
Yes.
that I think all of us have played quite a lot in more recent years.
Funnily enough, never played, but I know everything about it. 'cause
You've
I've
never played it?
never played it, but the
No,
thing
it's
is,
all
Well,
I-
this we can fix.
No, but I watched so many YouTube, like so many of my favorite YouTubers played it. So I've just like watched them all do their own like little series.
It's just a sandbox for engineers.
I know. It's
That's all it
fantastic.
is.
It's so good.
It's got electronics in it. It's insane. So what have you been working on Minecraft then?
It's a bit of a project, you could say.
A bit of a
Yeah,
project.
yeah.
Just a wee bit.
How many years?
This one,
This one.
particularly
This one.
I think it's been about a year.
Just 1 year?
I think.
Oh, barely scraping the surface, isn't he?
Well, my other one it was like 2. But
Oh,
I gave
jeez.
up on that one. This one is basically I'm recreating Erebor.
Okay.
I have built a mountain, a
You have-
solid mountain,
Yep.
out of lava and water buckets.
Very nice. So you're playing it on
Not hard, normal.
normal,
Yeah.
not creative.
No, not creative.
So you're doing this hard graft.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I didn't say that the right way.
Doing
Doing this in hard graft. Going down mines.
Well, I started the mine. I've made a storage area that has about 3 odd million bits of storage.
Wait. Hold on a minute. I don't think you're quite selling them on the absolute
We've seen how big it is.
monumental scale. Bear in mind, James tells me, oh, you know, I've been working on this project. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You know, he plays Minecraft. Yeah, it's fine. He starts streaming it to me. Now, he walks out the door. Bear in mind, you've got your Minecraft character that's what, 3 blocks?
2 blocks.
2 blocks tall.
Just under 2 blocks.
2 blocks high. Do you want to roughly tell us what the small entrance, the trading entrance height?
Oh,
is?
that the trading entrance
Yes,
is
which is the small entrance to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
building, to the mountain.
well, it's at the back of the mountain by the fields that I've made.
Oh my.
I think it's 10 blocks high, that one.
10 blocks.
Maybe a bit more.
Okay, so
No, that's just the entrance.
Yeah, that's
Like
just the entrance. And then
I've-
as you go in, it goes up.
I think the red flag for me was when you streamed it. Your render distance can't keep up
That was
with one side of the inside and man to the other.
Well, it has. I've gone from what would be the lowest end of where normal, like dirt and all that spawn, to as high as you can build,
As high as.
and it's gone out. It's,
the crazy thing moment for me was when you went outside of the mountain and looked up, and I thought I'd saw the peak of the mountain. No, it hadn't rendered in.
No.
And and then he flew using fireworks and his elytra, and it just continued.
Yeah.
it takes a good minute to fly from one end
Yeah, that's pretty big.
and around,
Yep.
and that's not going all the way around. That's flying kind of over and around, not going over.
So if we don't see him for weeks on end,
Oh yeah. We know
there'll be a
exactly
second mountain.
No. Let him finish mountain one first.
And then I think, and I've dug out. I think it was 100,000 blocks of cobblestone.
You can take Yorkshireman out of man, but you can't take man out of Yorkshireman. No.
And then I've made some nice farm fields outside. They're all one chunk, and I've got about 10 of them so far, and they've all been built up with nice stone.
Controversial opinion.
Yeah.
This is the moment you should say, "Oh boy."
Oh boy.
Thank you.
Gresh complaints.
You know how a long time ago when everyone was like, they were using bad practices, and they're like, maybe we should change things. One of those things was they had children
Oh no.
in mines. Now,
Yes,
and they
Gresh,
were
where are we
like,
going with this?
Guys, we should stop, sending children into mines. Okay, that's fine.
That's why they had the budgies, right?
And now the most popular game, one of the most popular games in the world,
yeah.
played by children,
Is
is
Minecraft.
Minecraft.
And has
a
been
game
for a
around-
long time.
For the longest.
Are we saying that the children, they yearn for the mines?
I think they do. I know correlation does not imply causation, but
Oh, yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm trying to see if I can find
Oh,
a
this is...
photo, but I'll put it up on the video.
We'll have to get some live stream footage to go on top
Yes.
of the video
And
version
then
of this podcast.
Somehow you're gonna have to try and show scale.
The entrance is the best one for the scale. It's like the actual entrance itself is about 20 blocks tall, and that's the entrance. And then I've got a barracks on top of it, and then some other bits on top of that.
And then I don't know if you actually explain what is your intention for this build.
Basically, turning it into Erebor from
Nice.
the Lord of the Rings.
And is this going to be published online
Yeah,
as a
are you gonna-
download?
Yes, it will be.
Nice.
Okay.
Very
Like the
nice.
whole I've got like a furnace array and things like that, and I'm creating a trading hall right now, and I'll go online.
When you say trading hall, do you mean like the slave trade you set up with villagers where they have them behind little walls?
A trading hall.
Yes, yes, he does.
I'm-
Oh dear.
I'll let him run around.
Minecraft doesn't have ethics and
No,
morality.
it really
It's-
doesn't have
Doesn't even have
ethics.
gravity.
It doesn't even have gravity.
The
Well,
thing-
it's sand. It does be sand.
I discovered that they put in the Weeping Angels in there now, right?
What?
There's a new spawnable thing in a certain area in Minecraft. I don't know, it might only be the Windows variant, not Java. But I saw that there is a Weeping Angels thing. It's not statues, it's like woody people.
Oh yeah.
They-
That hasn't come on my update yet, but it's in the swamps.
Yeah, they
think
just
that's- yeah.
the only
I am
time they
not
move
okay
towards
with
you.
this. The number of times where I've said I watch most of Doctor Who, and the one thing that always creeped me out that I hated
Is the angel.
were the angels. 'Cause
Blinking, you're dead.
they were nightmare fuel. Because,
They are.
Like the whole concept behind them, and the thing is, there was very little you could do against them.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not okay with this.
I really want to get various angel sculptures and put them in the garden and see if I can freak my neighbours out.
Nah.
And move them every so often.
Just move them like go out at 1
that's
o'clock in the
evil.
morning and swap it for the next one.
That's evil. Wait, does anybody have a motion-based security light?
Yeah, next door.
That will be the way to do it.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Although you have to remember, we are in Wiltshire.
Wiltshire.
So we're in Shire County, which means people have shotguns.
Yeah, that's true.
As long as they don't shoot you, that's fine.
Everyone's packing out here. Farmer and farmer's mums.
Oh, that is mental. I feel like there was a conversation recently of like either a TV series or something, including a Weeping Angels-esque. No. I was thinking of Indiana Jones. Sorry.
Oh,
It was in like one of the locations, and I was convinced there was going to be a Weeping Angels-esque.
yeah. I think I know the bit you're on about.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did a very good job of
They
that
did
game,
such
making
a
sure
good
that
job.
it was very
I mean, you
atmospheric.
did do it on Twitch, so anyone can actually.
Yes, you
That
can
is
watch it
true.
on Twitch for Crazy Make a Nerd. Ooh. Until it's at
Shameless
least
plug.
taken down. I think it's 30 days now, and then the Twitch streams go down.
Oh, is that?
I think it's quite a while.
Could you get it and put it on the
Yeah, I was
channel?
going to say, just chuck it on YouTube.
No. Gee, I'm keeping it separate words. I'm keeping it separate for now
Okay.
because it's super long content.
It is
Yeah,
super
it
long
was.
content.
And
Yeah.
Because
you
I
keep
think-
dying at one point.
I died so much in that game, and it's not even because of. Sometimes it's because the fascists were shooting me in the game, but most of the time it's just because I can't jump. I've never been able to do jumping missions on games. I can't do it for the love of me. The Jedi
It's the
games
timing.
as well. There's a bit where you slide down
Yeah.
a slope, and then you have to do a particular jump to grab onto a vine. I think I did that 30, 40 times. I could not do it for the life of me. I was doing it so long, I got up and made 2 cups of tea. 2. That was intense.
You're saying that to a Yorkshire.
Oh
man.
yeah,
It's nothing.
it's not 2 minutes like Yorkshire. That's about 45 minutes.
Well, why would you bother making one? Why don't you make two? You got 2 hands. You make 2 cups
No,
of
what you do is
tea.
you get the big Sports Direct one.
Yeah, which is already 3 mugs.
The problem with that though is then you need a Waz halfway through as well. It's
Oh,
just
no,
that'll be an hour and a half.
And then if God forbid that mug spills when
Oh.
it falls, bloody hell.
Well, last time it flooded round here, we became an island.
Yep, there you go.
So I was going to call it the People's Republic of Pusham, but Viva la Resistance! We were going to go for EU membership at one point. It's flooded for so long.
go back to the EU. That would be nice.
That would be quite funny, wouldn't
That'd
it?
be quiet.
It's like the whole of the UK, not in the EU, but there's this
Except
one little
Pew.
island. It's its own
You got the
republic.
Republic of Ireland and Pewsham.
Yeah.
Be quite entertaining.
Oh, dear.
It'll be a good way to put Pewsham on the map. So.
Talking of flooding and various flooding things, I think we're coming to the end now. So
Yep.
the Somme,
Oh boy.
the back garden, Gresham. So for context, everybody,
Now this needs context.
I think it was last summer.
Yes.
We started digging out Gresham's garden to do a retaining wall and a fire pit. We firstly dug out the fire pit, so there was some drainage, so it could drain a little bit, and it all goes in there.
And
it worked.
it was a coffin. It
It
was,
did. Yeah, I could lay in the whole thing. It was that big, about 2 feet down, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
2 to 3
Yeah,
foot.
yeah.
It rained, and it did work. Then we just didn't make the wall quick enough, and the 2 massive trenches that we made for this wall also filled with water, and I don't think they've ever emptied.
If you've not in the UK, it has not stopped raining
Since last summer.
on and off for last summer. It's been a bit bad.
Some say that a local once went into Gresham's garden and thought it was actually a historical recreation of the Battle of the Somme.
It's very much a very good recreation.
If you look at
of a
it,
World War One trench.
if you look at it, you get trench foot.
Like, I mean, I would hate to think how old some of that water is.
It looks foul.
It looks foul.
It looks like
It looks
you could.
bad.
You have Papa Nurgle's Nurgle rock growing
Probably.
in your moat right now.
Probably.
You have the start of the 40k universe in your back garden. It
Also-
just takes one person to fall in.
I was thinking about this. We moved 4 tons of dirt.
Yeah.
Clear.
Yeah, clay.
Clay, okay.
Potter's clay mostly.
Which is already more dense than water.
Yeah.
Which scientifically, mathematically means we have approximately more than 4 tons of water.
Yes. Okay.
Because if we shifted that much clay, well, maybe I don't know.
So what
It
you're
is
saying
what
is we
it
need a
so
really
much
big pump.
Nah,
Are we going to finish it?
it'll be done this summer.
By who? Are we doing it?
It'll be done this summer.
Oh god.
Do we not know who?
If I suddenly start doing YouTube again and then just go off the face of the earth,
You'll know why.
and you see that there's a new pandemic called Nurgle's Rot and it's originated from Wiltshire, you know why.
It'll be fine.
Oh jeez.
Have you made the decision whether are you going to try and get someone to do it, or are we going to be cracking on again?
One thing's sure, we need to do it soon because at the moment the water's eating sideways, and these wall trenches go up to the neighbours.
Yep.
So there's going to be a point where the gravel's coming in from next door.
Yep.
If we don't sort this soon.
Yep.
I love the blank expression we're getting right now. It's like, I know, but I have no money.
No.
Well, you know, there's always RedTube
Oh, God.
or OnlyFans.
I don't think anybody wants to see
You
that.
need a second income here, clearly, just so you don't accidentally subside the neighbour's garden.
Games Workshop, Bamboo Labs, please sponsor us.
Anybody?
Donate to Gresham's fund.
I mean,
Actually-
if OnlyFans wants to sponsor us,
any landscaping services around Wiltshire, I will happily take your sponsorship.
oh my days.
Have I got a challenge for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Imagine the social media.
Please find someone to pump those out soon.
No. I want it done by mid to end of summer.
Yeah.
I want it done because it just needs to. I think if I can, I'll get someone in to do kind of the concreting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the beginning of and the brickwork if possible.
Might be best getting it done at the same time.
At the same time, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then after that, I think that's when probably the coffers run out.
Oh, you could rent it out to Spielberg if he does another World War film. That could make you some cash.
That'd be lovely.
That could pay for it. Go on, Stephen, if you're watching,
Please.
please can you come and use his garden for a few bucks?
I will say though, I captured some of. I'm so annoyed I didn't record this footage, but I captured this on my Google cameras. A few weeks ago, Amazon delivery guy rocks up. He notices that no one's at home. He needs to put the package in the safe space. Bear in mind, I was at home. I was still sleeping.
That's no surprise.
Classic. And he walks around back. He opens the gate to enter the garden because he's meant to put it by the back door. He stops and goes, "Fuck me." You hear it on the recording. And he just stops and looks at it. And then finally he's like, "Okay, fine." He walks through the door, puts the parcel on the back door, walks out. Just as he's walking out, he closes the gate. The DPD delivery man turns up. And the guy's like, "Just be prepared. It's bad out there."
Oh dear.
You're gonna get a reputation.
It's so bad.
But one day they'll turn up and it'll be done.
Oh yeah. And then one day they'll be like, "God damn." I mean, to be honest, I've already gained the reputation with the with the bakery van that comes every weekend.
Oh, no.
The driver asks me every weekend, "So, how's the garden going?" And I'm like, "I ain't touched it, mate. I ain't touched it."
It's festering. That's what it is. It's festering.
It's so sad.
It's disease and plague.
One day.
And I think that draws us to the end of our first episode.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. If you made it this far, hats off to you.
Yeah. And any suggestions on improvements? Things
Yes,
you'd like to
improvements.
hear, any
Yep.
questions?
I think we could do with a mixer, an XLR mixer.
No, do you know?
Lovely.
Nah, we don't need that.
Yeah, I'm just watching the levels constantly, going, "Oh, I'm going to need to normalise this afterward."
Yeah, so if anyone notices me just staring directly into your eyes, I'm not staring at you. I'm staring at our audio levels.
Yeah, the audio levels.
Just
Trying to pull back at the
dangerously
right points and go,
dancing.
I've got a small write-up that was prepared for James. Do you want to do it, or should I
Just
do it?
before that, I was going
You can
to
do it
ask
this time.
if we had any way of contact.
Contact at the moment, wherever this is going to be posted, I think we're going to start off just putting it on my YouTube channel, probably.
That works.
We need to cut up the logo before we post it as well. That's
Gotcha.
going to be fun. So hopefully the logo you saw at the start is great.
Or one of you could do it for us.
Yeah, if you see a logo at the start and it's crap, then also redesign it for us and send it in.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it'll be on Crazy Maker Nerd YouTube channel. We can do this as regularly as we feel like at the moment because we haven't got a set schedule. I would assume 2 weeks is probably quite realistic.
Yeah.
Make sure that we don't talk too much in between about what we're going to do on the topic, so it's actually a conversation is nice as well. But I'll do the ending.
Yep.
Okay, I'll do it in my style because I don't think I can talk that fast either because I'm quite tired.
I'll do it next time when I've got a voice.
Next time on the Nerding Out, will Gresh ever understand 40k? Will James ever finish a project? Will Luke learn to like F1? I don't fucking like that. See you later.
Peace.
Find out next time.